many of the fierce ones came from eastern Libya. Now, when you see Muslims leaving their homes, the Mujahideen going to fight Russia in Afghanistan, it's not about money. It's about a cause worthy to spend your life. Gaddafi was ill prepared for war. My brother had been lulled to sleep. I have to say it, Brother Gaddafi, if you hear it, because I went to him for the second time. Did you know that I put myself in danger after I learned that it was Libya that America was going to bomb? I sent my family home from Africa, and I got on an Aeroflot jet and landed in Tripoli and warned Brother Gaddafi's people of what America was planning to do. Ronald Reagan, while I was in Belize, said no American should do business with or travel to Libya. $50,000 fine, 10 years in prison. It crystallized for me while I was in Ghana that it was Libya. That the vision, and Elijah Muhammad said, the president has met with his joint chiefs of staff to plan a war. I want you to hold a press conference and make known their plans. Well, I had to find out who the war was against and why he didn't tell me more, because Reagan was the beginning, and unfortunately Barack Obama is the end. Now, many of you who heard of my vision-like experience and laughed at me and mocked me, but all the governments that are now releasing their files on UFOs, America's holding back, but Britain just released hers, Mexico, Brazil, China, other nations are informing their people of the reality of what is above your head, that America's technology, they say, is 1,000,000 years behind. So when a man visited us Savior's Day, and he was telling us about the technology of what they discovered in Rockwell, in New Mexico, he said, what is it? Roswell, thank you. He said, we are thousands of years behind. I said, why do you think you're that far behind? Who do you think then that you're dealing with? If you're the best in the world, but you're thousands of years behind the technology on those wheels, I'm here to tell you that you're dealing with God. And you have no weapon that can handle what is already prepared to take you out. Now you may laugh, but in a few days, something is going to wipe the smile and the laugh from your face. Now this man, Barack, he had a good heart. We all fell in love with him during the campaign. Not the same man today. He's got problems and pressure that he didn't have then. But the worst part of this is the human spirit that made him go to the Middle East and say to Muslims and to peoples of the third world that we are sorry in words for any mistakes that we have made in the past. That was noble. Pope John Paul did the same thing. He apologized for what the church had done to indigenous people all over the world. An intelligent man who wants to chart a new course must look at what was, rectify it, and put something new in place. That was what was in our brother's heart. But the moment he went over there, Mitt Romney and that crowd, we don't need no president to apologize for us. See? And the chorus started building against a moral consciousness in Barack. But gradually, the people that surrounded him engulfed him. Who's Timothy Geithner? Larry Summers? Paul Volcker? Ben Bernanke? Who are these people that were his economic advisors? All of them came from Goldman Sachs. And they encouraged Obama to take a second stimulus package. He wanted to benefit all of the people that were losing their homes. Did they benefit? He wanted to open up monies so that small business could begin to generate jobs. What happened? Poor brother beginning to be swallowed up. I can imagine when Gaddafi looked weak, they said, let's get him. Now I want to deal with the rush to destroy him. What was the rush? He had good relations with Italy, with France, with Germany, with Britain. He was on the good side of America. He gave up not some of his weapons of mass destruction. He gave them all up. Now they're trying to say, well, he kept some sarin gas, or he kept some mustard gas or poison gas. That's a predicate, for putting boots on the ground. Our brother, as we speak, is in trouble in Libya. And England, France, NATO, the Arab League, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. Why did Amr Musa say we need a no-fly zone? Brother Gaddafi, if you look in his face, he was completely in shock at the betrayal of all his partners in Europe. You want to hear something strange? There's a group called the Morton Group. Have you heard of them? It's the Monitor Group, headed up by Harvard's Michael Porter. You need to check that out, because Gaddafi opened the door. And guess who went in? Richard Pearl. Now, many of you don't know Richard Pearl. What is his nickname? the prince of darkness. They let him in. Wow, things have changed. And guess what? This monitor group was there to help Gaddafi broaden Libya and clean up his image. Do you remember when I met with rabbis here in Chicago, and they told me that if I condemned the secret relationship between blacks and Jews, book 1, and acted well and spoke nice over a protracted period of time, but listen to the words, we will clean up your image. Why? How could you clean it up? Because you dirtied it. Now you are over in Libya telling Gaddafi you're going to clean him up, so he let you in. Now you're trying to clean him out. See, this is why we don't trust white people. I want you to know this. And all our people that put their trust in you have been deceived and brought down. Tell me I'm a liar. You just weak, spineless Negroes. Many of you have sold out the future of our people for some friendship with your open enemy. Now I can conclude. In closing, let me tell you what I know about this brother. He took power in a bloodless coup. He didn't kill nobody. The minute he came to power, of course, the king, I'm sure he was a nice gentleman. Like some of you, you're nice. But you've sold out to corporate interests. You're still a nice guy, but we can't trust the future of our people in the hands of you nice guys. See this go along to get along? That means you compromise things that maybe you should never compromise. My brother took the king out of power and refused to live in his palace. It's there in Tripoli today as a museum. He was a man from the desert. He chose to live in the desert. At the time that he took power, America had a base there. Britain had a base there. They were in control of the oil. Gaddafi put the Americans out, put the British out, nationalized the oil. Now wait. Is that a bad thing to do? I know the price of your gas is going up, but I'm talking about, was that a bad thing for a leader of a nation to do when the oil that's under their foot really belongs to the Libyan people? He took the oil. Yes, he did. Now, I read in the book of John, Jesus was doing all these good works, and he asked the people, which one of my good works do you stone me? I want to look at some of the good things that I know of Brother Gaddafi. He didn't want your democracy. He announced he was socialist. That got him in trouble with the Muslim Brotherhood. that got him in trouble with the Wahhabis and others who were strict in their interpretation of the Quran. But Gaddafi started like Nasser as a socialist. All of a sudden, women that I used to go to Libya and you'd see them with one eye. They had a veil, that covered one eye. They could only see out of one. I'm not lying. You go there today, women look like you. You can see their faces. Some of those who are older, they put on their full garb. But the Libyan woman is educated. She's free. She's helping to build her nation. How is that the work of a lunatic and a madman? He took oil money. I don't know how many homes of American people have been foreclosed on, but it's in the millions. While we're losing homes, Gaddafi was building homes so that every Libyan has either a home or a flat that belongs to them. He built one hospital that I saw that was $500 million with 18 operating theaters. And across from that, they were making their own medicines. And he built another hospital, $500 million. The book says that in 51, Libya was the poorest nation on earth. Now, the standard of living in Libya is the finest in Africa, and the per capita income is double that of the Egyptians. So if the people have free education, free housing, free medical, a friend of mine told me they're 30% unemployed. So I went to check behind that, and it's true, but a lot of Libyans don't want to work the menial tasks. Like some of you that don't have jobs, and you don't want to pick grapes or this, so you mad at the Latino brother or sister because they're taking the job that you don't want, because after all, you're a big man now. You'd rather sell drugs than work hard. That's bad. I just read where brother said he wanted to, in 2009, he said he wanted to nationalize all the oil to get more money for the Libyan people. And guess who would be suffering? Oh, let me see. Anglo-Dutch Shell, British Petroleum, U.S. Exxon Mobil, Hess Corp, Marathon Oil, Occidental Petroleum, ConocoPhillips, the Spanish Repsol, Germany's Wintershall, Austria's OMV, Norway's Statoil, Eni, and Canada's Petro-Canada. See, then he could deal with them. They could still get oil. But he would be in control of the fluctuation of production so he could keep prices at a reasonable rate. This is what Gaddafi said. I'm quoting now, and what my fax team does, they do what they do on TV. We have fax checks, because I don't want to be out here lying to you. But my point is, I was in Libya. Gaddafi and his engineers had found water in the desert. He brought water up from the desert, way out in Benghazi, and brought that water from Benghazi almost to the border of Tunisia. And I was one of those privileged to be there when the water started flowing. Gaddafi's hand, my hand, President Rawlings' hand, and another president, we hit the button together and the water flowed. Now, wait a minute. We took all this stimulus money to build infrastructure. Gaddafi building infrastructure, your bridges falling down. You can't get hospital treatment. In fact, the poor brother passed a medical health care bill, and the Republicans about to destroy it. But not in Libya. Free health care. That's a lunatic. He saw corruption in his popular committees, and he was about to disband the government and give direct money to the Libyan people. 2009. You know, when you start making changes like that, who do you anger? Your inner circle. The last point, Brother Gaddafi wrote in the Green Book that the black race would prevail in the world. And when the Arab League decided that they were going to let the West do to Iraq and Saddam what they did, he condemned them and walked out. Now, the Quran says, let not hatred of a people cause you to act unjustly. Gaddafi is not loved by a lot of people, especially leaders. Now, there's some blame maybe on him. But you know, in God's scale, he puts the good on the scale with the evil, and the Quran says good outweighs evil. Now, when a man has done all of that, and to bring him out of the cold, he turned over his nuclear stuff, weapons of mass destruction. He gave them sarin gas, mustard gas. And that man was so in tune with peace that even when the sanctions